Hey, I'm Dean from Sequencer Talk, and I'm here with.
Jared from Drift DJ.
Yeah, nice. You have a really special little box here because it's not just a synthesizer or something to record on.
Yeah,
It's also a DJ mixer.
that's right. That's right. It sort of comes from, there's two different ways to come at it, right? So you can come into it as a DJ who's looking to move into maybe DAWless and hybrid DJ stuff, or you can come at it as a sort of hybrid as a DAWless focused person who maybe wants some DJ features as part of their setup, right? So file playback from an internal hard drive, beat syncing of those files, so beat grid style, DJ time stretching, that kind of stuff. And yeah, lots of audio routing options so that if you do have a DAWless or hybrid setup, you can plug things in, do send return flows, all of that kind of stuff. And then all of it flows through a recording system that captures a Float 32 wave to the hard drive that you can then go edit metadata on and time stretch and play back and yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's take a look. We'll start with the DJ-oriented features. Again, this is all about file playback from an internal drive. We have 2 decks of file playback. We have a library system that lets you do playlists. It'll also sort by artist, genre, BPM, that kind of stuff. All those sort of DJ-focused things that DJs tend to want for their organization. We can, for example, I've got a playlist sort of prepared, so we can just go in here. I've got the DJ set up. This is these are tracks. These are MP3 files, but we also support WAV, FLAC. And what I do is I select a track from the playlist. I then select the deck that I want to load it into. So in this case, I'll load it into deck 1. Cue points we support, so we are queuing here, and then the deck controls. So I'm selected deck 1 right now. The deck controls control deck 1. I can play. I can pause, I can scrub, I can hot queue. I also have EQ controls on all the decks, on each deck. So high, mid, low EQ. And then I can come in here and load a second track on deck 2 this time. And deck 1 has a track with 123 BPM beat grid set, which I've gone in and set up myself. Deck 2 loads in and is automatically synced to that 123 BPM. And you can see that the beat grid ticks here line up. So what I'll do is I'll actually start the playback on deck 2 here. Start fading in a little bit with this 2-channel DJ mixer layout where I've got deck 1, deck 2, and the crossfader. And sync it, I'll nudge to sync it into place a little bit. All right. So yeah, standard DJ workflow where you are loading 2 tracks and playing them back, doing the mixing kind of stuff. So we have 2 decks, deck 1, deck 2. We have a couple of different things you can do with the deck. So when you press the deck select button, you switch through function pages. So this gives you the ability to do trim for the deck. You can also use the dedicated headphone cue channel like a DJ would. You can step through other things. There's a looper here that lets you do sort of 1-bar loops. Sorry, not 1-bar, multi-bar loops. You can stretch that loop out. You can also do it unquantized. So if you want to do really like interesting stuff, you can have fun with that. There is also, sorry, I jumped right past it. Sync controls, so you can disable sync. You can also do double and halftime sync if you're doing drum and bass to hip hop, that kind of stuff. There is a bimodal, DJ style bimodal filter here. So, all right, with resonance. So you can use that to do some of your DJ transition kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty much the DJ workflow. It's all about, standard DJ stuff, load tracks in, mix them together, sync them up. But where it starts to get a little bit more interesting is because we have this beat grid data, what we can actually do is use that to send a clock out. So for example, everything's running at 123 beats per minute right now. What I can do is set up a routing so that the audio that's coming out, I can set a routing up. Sorry, excuse me. I just noticed that one of my devices has been unplugged here. I'm like, I can set an audio routing out so that a clock is coming out one channel of a split stereo output. So I can clock a drum machine, I can clock a groove box, I can clock modular synths, all that kind of stuff. And it's all done in sync with the music that's playing on the track. So then I can come in and like speed stuff up, slow stuff down, and have all of the clocks sort of stay synced with whatever it is I'm doing. Yeah.
Can you set a pitch range?
Set a pitch range. As opposed to doing sort of time stretching, you mean like be able to like sort of change the pitch? We don't have that in this build of the software, but it's definitely like that's for sure possible. I think that, yeah, that's something that's going to get enabled during the beta program. We'll turn that on.
So you have now more control about the pitch.
I see. So basically,
you can say exactly, you say 5%, 10%, or 100%. You can stop it all the way through.
Yeah, I think that that's one of those things that's going to come up while we're sort of in our beta, and we find that folks maybe want to have something like that enabled. We're basically, the feature requests come in, and we're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, let's do that. So I think it's part of the open source nature of the development of this thing that it's, but we can definitely do that. Yeah.
Does it have flexible beat grid?
It doesn't do flex beat grid. No, it is basically, there's a beat grid editing system on here, which actually I could show you, we could go into. There's a beat grid editing system, but it is the parameters on that are the start point in the song and then just the BPM. So it is just 1 BPM for the whole song. Yeah.
Okay, the normal one. Okay.
Yeah, that's the sort of mostly DJ stuff. The other thing that this starts to get into is when we start talking about DAWless, the DAWless side, and that's where, we bring in the routing mixer, which you see in the DJ stuff. If I open up the control panels, we start to see some of the additional stuff that we can do. So we've got control channels here for deck 1, the external deck 2, the main left right bus, on and on, right? We can sort of scroll through all this. And the important thing is for each of these channels, you can go in and set up a custom input and output like mixing. So for example, I could take the audio from deck 1 and I could set the output to something somewhere in the system, right? I could send the output directly out one of the left-right analog outs. I can send it directly to the USB out. I can decide where I want that stuff to go. Or I've got it right now routed through the crossfader, so it works like a DJ mixer.
So you can route it to a normal DJ mixer, so you can do your EQs, your fading and stuff on a real big mixer, and you can control the rest with this. Or is it possible to add an MIDI controller to it, so you basically use this as a hub for your complete performance?
Yeah, that is something we're working on. It's going to be a post-launch release because the MIDI implementation is pretty deep. As you can tell, like you will be able to edit. You'll be able to connect a MIDI controller over USB. Any knob controller that we have here at the show, and specifically set up, the fade, the gain, EQs, effects controls, all that stuff can be custom mapped within the UI on this thing, and that's obviously a big lift. So we're going to go ahead and we're not going to delay launch for that. We're just going to run with it. But yeah, that's the idea. Using an external controller, you can actually, rather than route just the audio signals out to some other piece of gear, you could instead control what Zero's doing with an external piece of gear. Another demo that I think that we can do is the way that I can sort of show the send return flow.
So you can use it with different, say.
Come over here on the Zoya and we'll do a quick demo of that. So into deck 2, I'm going to load something that's maybe a little bit less loud. Maybe I've got like a saxophone acapella here that I can load. And what's happening is I've got the routing on deck 2 set up so that when it's set to go into the headphone Q channel, it's actually going out this channel. It's going out this pipe here into the Zoya through the delay, this like delay setup on Zoya, and then back into one of the inputs, right? So as I scroll, you kind of hear the echo, right? And while deck 1 is still just a raw signal, right? So deck 1 is the raw signal. Deck 2 is through the effects, and everything gets mixed back together in that sound card. So, and then obviously with all that, there's some recording functionality as well, and it's recording right now. The audio that we're hearing is actually being recorded to Zero's internal drive, that recording function is also part of the is part of the sound card mixer. So in here we have a special recording bus. You can add your own inputs to it. You don't necessarily have to record the full main left-right mix. You can select just the input. You can select maybe you can bus a couple of different tracks into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the design, and I'm not sure how well that held together, but that is the idea, is that you can come at it from the DJ side and stretch it into some hybrid DJ kind of stuff. You can also come at it from the DAW side and set up a jamming rig where you're recording things, and those recordings then live once you've completed a recording. The recording then shows up in the library here, where shows up immediately in the library here, and you can then load it, you can put a B grid on it, you can play it back, you can do all that kind of stuff. So you can build up layered jams, you can do all that.
Yeah, that's nice. So you can really use it also for preparation or little live setups, so you can play your backing tracks in sync with your other gear.
That's right. Yeah, it's good for that, like backing track synced with, synthesizer Groovebox, or if you're playing live, you can do that too. You can be nudging stuff into place. Yeah.
Does it have a wireless connection like Ableton Link or something?
Yeah. There's no radio built into it, so we don't do Ableton Link as part of the hardware. But we're looking at the possibility of adding, dongles. This is just Linux, so being able to enable network, the whole network stack on this would let us then with a dongle link into Ableton. So we haven't developed that functionality yet, and it probably won't be in there for release, but it's absolutely on the roadmap to figure out.
So when will it be available?
Yeah. The first round of devices are in production now. They come off the line in about a month or so. Those are going to go out with beta software to folks who've signed up for the beta program. And then basically as soon as we're out of beta, then the production devices start shipping. So I'm thinking like end of summer. I don't want to put like a hard date on it because it's beta. Like it's going to go out when it's like good, So yeah, but this year sometime.
Nice. And do you have a fixed price now?
Sorry, fixed price? Yeah. $8.99 US, and then we tend to do a little cheat code deal here when we're at shows. So yeah,
sounds good. So it's basically a really little powerhouse, to be honest. I'm pretty impressed. It's nice, especially with my background, and we're really looking forward to talk to you soon again.
Yeah.
In a real developer talk.
Oh yeah. Would love to. Thank you. There's a very long history of this device. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Nice. Okay, then bye.
Bye bye.